Welcome back to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to my channel, I'm going to do a collective reading. So know that energy is fluid, rules could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel I like to dive deep within the reading, so we do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they play out as karmic themes, to help you understand why your person's doing what they're doing. Today, we're not going to do a vlog. We're just going to jump right on in and do an oracle reading. All right, let's see what the underlying energy is. We always want to know what the underlying energy is because that tells us why everyone does what they do. All right, let's pull and see. The underlying energy is nervousness, nervousness. Let me just pull one more. Doubt. Well, it's obvious that you're in connection with somebody that's really like doubts quite highly that you even want to talk to them, that you even like they know that they blew this connection. They know. That's the underlining energy. So if you're not really seeing this person do that much, that's the reason why. It's because of everything that they did. See, when you are in a connection with them, this person just like was abusive, and that was so psychologically and emotionally by being dishonest, by just unfair treatment, one-sided relationship. Like they wanted to talk to other people, they didn't want you to talk to other people. They wanted you to sit there and wait for when they would come back around. They came in and out. They will move in and out of your life. You kind of felt ignored, like your needs weren't met. You would tell this person, "Hey, this is what I need from you to in order for me to like stay in a connection with you." To get for me to give my time to you. And they would say, yeah, but they were dishonest and they just played games. And when you got too much, they check out. This person has addiction problems. So there's someone that's avoidant to begin with. And so being in a connection with them, it's a one-sided. They want to have their cake and eat it too. That's what it was like to be in a connection with them. And so now it's like they like the connection really is crumbling, and it's crumbling, and they can feel it because they never they never confront the issues. They escape. It's like there is they like to come on very strong and love bomb in the beginning, and then none of it is true, and it's a form of escapism, the same as the substances is a form of escapism. There's a bigger problem that this person has, but understand because they have this problem, the relationship is just gonna be too hard. Everything's gonna be too hard because this person doesn't want to be transparent. They have a lot of secrets, and you feel like you're alone. And alone because anytime you try to create the intimacy, it create very rocky type of environment. And so, who wants to be in a relationship with someone that acts like they're not like it's obvious that they don't want to settle down. It's obvious that they don't want a committed relationship. And the more that you would try to, create that intimacy, create that transparency, it's this person rebelled against it to the point that the relationship's in ruins now because you're too tired. And that's what this person feels. And they also know that they neglected you, that you got tired of the promises that they don't keep and just broken. They're broken. They make promises that they don't keep, but they're just everything is a facade, everything's a lie, and this person just lives from their lower energies, which is addictions. They have substances, they fall in love with being in love, and yes, you were that person, but you know they didn't treat you like you were that person, meaning if you were their twin flame, they did not treat you like a twin flame. They did not treat this as a sacred connection. They treated you the way that they treat everyone else. And it's because they're so used to having their cake and eat it too, which is why they know that there's a part of you that's like, I don't really want this. And they can feel it. They can feel that the energy has changed. Yeah, because who wants to be in a relationship with someone that's always in search for somebody else and just rebels? So this is just more of the same of that this person knows what they did and they really don't know how to fix it. That's what we're seeing. But if we look at things from a spiritual perspective, we can say like, well, what's happening? What is it making them heal? Is it making them heal? Are they healing this situation? Because what you're seeing is it's like they don't know how to handle this, so they're not doing really anything. But you know a lot of things are happening internally because it is a spiritual connection and they're looking and seeing in their behavior. But is that making them heal or is that making them become more impulsive? Because it's almost like again living more from their addictions. They don't feel good, so it's like they don't really know what they're doing. There's a part of this person that's extremely sad, and has a lot of anxiety because of the way that they treated you, even though that they're not showing it. It's like they are jealous because if you're not giving them attention, you're giving somebody else. But the problem also is that this person is extremely lazy. They are used to not having to put any work in. And it's like, and now like you're making them, and so it's making them feel inadequate. It's making them feel like there's something wrong with them. It's like they're already coming from a place of lack, like they don't have enough. And that's really what the underlying issue is that this person feels inadequate. They feel like there's something wrong with them. So the thing is, no one can stay in that energy for long periods of time. So what this person has is addictive behavior to escape from that. They fall in love with being in love and they continually take risks. And it's almost like a little adrenaline shot. So they're used to people conforming to what they want, not anything else. And the thing is, you're not doing that. So this person is a little bit conflicted. They're fighting themselves because they're angry because you're not doing it. And it's like, and they're feeling guilty again because of the betrayal. But underneath it all is bringing them back to the family patterns that need to be healed. And this goes back to them feeling inadequate. So part of the family patterns is the feeling inadequate. And because they feel inadequate, whenever there's problems within a relationship or whenever things aren't really working out, this person doesn't deal with them. What they do is that they escape. They escape into their addictions and they escape into relationships. So it's like they lose themselves because of taking these risks all the time. And they lose time and space. And most people, like I said, conform. Yes, this was a connection, but they undervalued and really did not know what you were made of. And now they see what you're made of, that you're not conforming to anything, which is forcing them to actually look at their behavior. And there's a lot of different feelings and emotions that are happening. But what's underneath it really is emptiness. And when person feels empty and no one's around and that they feel inadequate, we see the addictions again. And the underlying energy is the trauma, and the trauma that was created in their childhood. And I say that because there was family patterns here, family patterns. So that's where the trauma originally came from, where they learned how to deal with stress, life, problems through escapism. So again, the relationship never gets deep. It's always on the surface. You're always gonna feel like not fulfilled because this person can't deal with anything that's not that either lovey-dovey stage, again, that love bombing. Otherwise, they see it as criticism. getting into a relationship with a person like this, would be like a contract. So it's like, yeah, the physical is good, is strong because that's there. There's spiritual connection, but they don't elevate it to a spiritual connection because being in a spiritual connection isn't just about feeling it, where they're like, well, I know that you're my person. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you're supposed to put up with shit behavior. It's like it means that they needed to rise and they needed to, become that energy of unconditional love. They had to either walk into the divine masculine, divine feminine traits, where they were going to be like not just focused on the physical, like I said, which is what a karmic contract is. The person just keeps staying in a place of projecting. And it's like you didn't allow that, which is why they doubt quite highly that they can fix this because instead of them trying to fix it, I feel like they just kept, just avoiding, and they lost a lot of time and they lost a lot of space. They're lazy. They're not used to having to do it. Didn't want to do it. Now that they're starting to want to do it, it's like, which you know that because it says clear the illusions of the 3D world, don't take everything at face value. There are things happening internally, meaning that there's signs and symbols and of like this person being guided. But where it's guiding them is really back to becoming strong within themselves. It's like because they know that they would lose themselves in this connection. So, you know, you made them feel that way because you held to your truth. It's almost like this person was so used to getting what they wanted, but never really feeling satisfied. And it's because they were allowing like their addictions and the behaviorisms of how to deal with life ruin the relationship, not really there. This person like actually wants to be there, but that means they actually have to do the work. And so what you see is them wanting to do the work. And that's why, like, there's a lot happening. It's like in this person, it brings them back to like when they were a child, they were wounded because their parents couldn't respond to them. So again, through the abandonment. And so, you know, that's really what it is. But because of you, they're starting to see what's really important in their life. And that's because like you hold true. They're looking at your life because this person thought for sure that they were going to be able to get what they wanted. That's not what happened. Everything like backfired on them. And now they're looking at your life and they're seeing like, well, like your life works and you're someone that's true to yourself. And you hold to a high vibration. So this person is like learning from you, even though, they may have acted like an ass. I feel like they did act like they were an ass. They undervalued the connection, but, they feel as if, you're connected. But right now, there are subconscious fears that are affecting their ability to attract love and abundance. And it's because they feel inadequate about themselves, which goes back to them not being strong within themselves because they didn't get that nurturing. They didn't get that love. They didn't get that support. So, just because, their parent did that doesn't mean that they can stay in a place of victimization forever. So what we see is them healing. We don't see them coming back. Do they have an intention? And I don't think that that's what the reading is about. The reading really isn't about that, but we're going to see anyway whether it is. Like they have a lot of baggage right now. I feel like they have to heal it, but in actuality, I don't even feel like they're going to come back. And I feel like there's a part of them that it's like knows that it's done. And it's done because you disconnected. You moved on. You were like, I don't want this anymore because they didn't do the right thing. They know time is up. However, they have feelings and they didn't think that it was going to go this way, and they don't really know how to handle it. But it pushed them into having to look at their own behaviors. And so that is really what Spirit says. I don't care whether you're with the person or not. What I care is that they would heal themselves of their trauma. And as again, they have trauma from their parents not showing up for them, for not being there for them, having relived those karmic patterns of attracting people that keep letting them down to the point that they became avoidant, that they shut their heart down. So even though you came into their life, they weren't prepared for this connection. They were still conditioned from how they've always been. You're making them want to change. But in order for them to even be in this connection, they have to be strong, and they're just not strong enough on their own yet. So we have to see why you attracted this person into your life. You're a mirror of whom what comes into your life, right? So let's pull six to see why. One, two, three, four, five, six. So let's see. Well, abandonment, trauma, neglect. Well, there it is, right there. And vulnerability, discipline, and innocence. So I feel like when you're a child and you have a parent that don't show up for you, that abandon you, that neglect you psychologically and emotionally, it robs your innocence. You don't like see the world as if it's a safe place because of that. Because the first person to, be in your life is actually supposed to be the most loving and caring, your mother, right? Supposed to nurture. That's not what happened. It's like, I feel like there was a lot of trauma there. So it robbed the innocence where you were taught that it wasn't safe to be vulnerable. And so you also didn't discipline yourself enough during that time because if emotionally you didn't get what you needed, then there would be a sense of wanting to get your emotional needs taken care of and maybe focusing too much on getting along with like friends or fitting in or having certain things to fit in, focusing on outer world things instead of healing internally because, hey, no one teaches us that when we're young. So we just want love and we try and get love, but it's very difficult to attract love when there's unhealed trauma, because again, we don't feel safe. We don't feel safe enough to feel vulnerable. And what you attracted was a person that's terrified to be vulnerable, that they know that they have to do healing work. But what Spirit's saying is if you attracted that person into your life, you too need that work. And it could be, hey, you're not afraid to be vulnerable. However, you keep attracting people that are emotionally not able to show up for you. So the answer then is to show up emotionally for yourself. So, and we can embody a new consciousness so that we can transmute the negative energy. Otherwise, we're going to continue to like recreate the same life experiences that aren't really satisfying, right? So let's pull six to see how we're going to transmute that negative energy. All right, let's see. Okay, look at this. Break the silence. Use your words, set boundaries. God created the world with its voice. You too can direct your energy with your voice to have exactly what you need. This situation helped you transform to turn the fears into strength as you step into the power. Profound change. And really it did because I have to say, out of all these cards, we pulled the best cards in the deck, which is you're alchemizing the energy. Again, use the power to turn the adversity into opportunity. So even though you're not with this person, it's like channel that pain into purpose so that you can ascend life. That's to let go of who you were and become who you truly are, which means you have to go into uncharted waters to evoke your curiosity to discover new aspects of life as well as yourself. And so to know what your worth is, so you can really, again, let go of the past and release the past. Otherwise, there's a sense of, I can get rid of it, but without transmutation, you don't heal without the embodiment of a new consciousness, which is again about alchemizing and transformation. Same thing, same card that you're churning, that though this, you weren't supposed to be with this person, like it was a very essential connection for the both of you to help you both transform certain wounds that you had from your childhood so you could become who you both need to become. So you're going to get that, however, not by focusing internally on the spiritual work, but actually by going out into the world and, seeing what life has to offer, about going out and seeing what stirs up your soul. Remember, if you were raised by someone that neglected you, suppressed you, wasn't there for you, abandoning you, well, then you didn't have the support to do that. So you have to reparent yourself and do it now. And we end off with one more card, and that is faith. Spirit says, be confident that you will achieve your goals. Live in the present and have the faith in future. Firmly believe in your value within the universe, that you're not here by mistake, you're here by God's design, that you too can succeed. Put your energy towards what you want to create, where you want to go, not where you're afraid to go. And that's part of that was letting go of this person. And this person wishes that they can fix it, but they know that they can't. All right, I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye bye.